As law enforcement, you know that our number one priority is to secure any threat to the safety of our community, apparent or otherwise. It's a sad day when officers become targets of violence. Across the nation, law enforcement officers are encountering an increasing number of violent offenders. These offenders are armed with more sophisticated and more powerful weapons, posing very serious threats to cities and communities throughout the country. 2 nights in a row, our officers, sworn to protect and serve, found themselves in dangerous, critical incidents. Calling on their training and even assisting outside agencies, they were able to secure 2 very real threats and restore peace and safety to the communities that were impacted. So we're going to talk about the incident that occurred on Saturday night first. At 7:08 p.m. Saturday, Columbus police officers were dispatched to 4738 McAllister Avenue after multiple callers reported a man firing shots. At 7:13, our officers arrived at the scene and immediately aired over the radio, "Officer in trouble," reporting the suspect was shooting at them with a rifle. Our officers returned fire and sought cover. As they approached the scene, they found the suspect shot on the sidewalk. The suspect was secured and officers began rendering medical aid. Multiple weapons were recovered. At the same time, other officers found a female victim shot by the suspect on the front porch. Medics responded and pronounced her deceased at the scene. The suspect was taken to the hospital where he was also pronounced deceased. At this time, we will show you the body camera footage from Saturday's incident.
We're across the street. Damn, reload. Yeah. There's a mailbag in the gray Honda Civic. 10 windows. I think got a black jacket on. I'm gonna hit Honda Civic over there. If you can hear that, hello? No, I'm good. So you're on with the call. I think that the mail. Is there someone else on Zoom? Hey, get out of there! I'm here. Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! Take your car and leave! Shit, man, you're right. Come on, who's right here? Who's right here? Hey, everyone is! These guys? Where? You both shot multiple times, so you shot at us, yeah. Instead of taking following us, see what that thing shooting. We'll do that right now, thanks. Hey guys, we need you to check this house specifically right over here. Yes, sir. This house? Listen, multiple witnesses in this one. We got another system down.
this time, we are not identifying the suspect or victim of this shooting until next of kin have been notified. Marcy law protects the identities of victims of crime, and since both responding officers were fired at, Ohio law requires us to withhold their identities as well. We can tell you the two officers involved have been on the division for 1 year each. Now we're going to turn to Sunday's incident. We are joined today by Chief Brandon Smith from West Jefferson Police Department, Madison County Chief Deputy Eric Simler, and Franklin Township Chief Byron Smith, representing all of the agencies involved in yesterday's incident. Chief Brandon Smith will start us off with what he can share about how this incident began, followed by Chief Deputy Simler and Chief Smith.
On May 12th, approximately 4:43 p.m., our officers were sent to Amazon facility within West Jefferson on State Route 29. 911 calls were received of shots fired of an active shooter at the facility. Officers started that way with multiple agencies, including Madison County Sheriff's Office, Plain City Police Department, London Police Department, Ohio State Highway Patrol, and both local fire departments. Officers, as they began to arrive, they were there within 2 minutes. They began to enter the facility with courage and commitment and started looking for threats and any victims that needed medical aid. Once the building was cleared, they began to speak with each individual that was running from the building. They established the caller, one of the main callers of the 911 call, saying that he was just possibly almost executed by this person. We began to work with the victim to achieve video or any information on the person that he said he was working with. He mentioned that he was a contracted security officer through Amazon. He was training with this person for approximately a 2-week period of time. While he was sitting at his post in the front, he noticed that the person had been gone for some time, longer than usual of a break. He started thinking what he was going to do because he didn't want to leave his post. As he was thinking what he was going to do, he heard shots fired from behind him. When we were able to pull up the video, you can see the other security guard walk up to him 3 feet away, level off the gun to the back of his head, and shoot a firearm. The firearm was a semi-automatic weapon. It appeared that he had a jam, was checking the top rail of the gun, and then ultimately fired the round. It just missed the victim's head. He fell to the ground and started to retreat to the back of the building. The suspect stayed running after him for about a 15-yard period and then retreated out the front of the building, where a live round was found at the entrance of the building. During that review of the video, we were obtaining information that plainclothes detectives could use to begin their investigation due to the victim saying that he saw him leaving. The video does show him leave. We then began to give that information to those detectives to begin their investigative work. From there, each person in the facility spoke with a police officer to assure nobody was hurt. And then the other part of the investigation that went into the Columbus began from there.
Good afternoon. As Chief Smith just advised, the suspect that was standing behind the security guard was identified by that security guard with his name. With that information, the Madison County Sheriff's Office was able to identify the last known address for that suspect, at which point we sent plainclothes detectives to an apartment complex off of Norton Road. As our detectives got there, the suspect was identified in the white Toyota that you can see him leaving in. He was still in the car. He was parked in the parking lot. They maintained surveillance on him, waiting for Columbus Police Department to get units there. Prior to the arrival of any of the Columbus units, the suspect left the apartment complex, where our detectives followed him to Georgesville Road, where CPD was able to get behind him and make the traffic stop. Thank you.
we want to show the dash cam? Do we want to walk through the dash cam, Chief? Okay. So our officers picked up the suspect at Hall and Georgesville Road along with CPD. Our officers pinned the suspect in. The suspect exited his vehicle, fired at the CPD officers. After that, our officers engaged the suspect. The suspect then turned and ran. The officers continued engagement. The suspect was neutralized. Excuse me. After that, the officers rendered aid. The suspect was pronounced, I believe, deceased at the scene, and BCI will now be conducting the investigation.
Okay. Now we'll go over, as you heard, the agencies requested our assistance in this investigation. So at 6:08 p.m. yesterday, Madison County Sheriff's Office requested assistance from Columbus. They indicated they were behind a suspect for a shooting incident and were traveling eastbound on Hall Road. At 6:08 p.m., the officers provided the vehicle description as a white Toyota with Ohio registration HNH 3078. The detectives continued to follow the vehicle eastbound on Hall Road as it passed Bolton Field and approached Georgesville Road. The Toyota turned northbound on Georgesville Road. At 6:13 p.m., Columbus officers advised they were behind the suspect vehicle on Georgesville. At 6:14 p.m., an officer in trouble call is aired and reported that a Columbus officer was shot. At 6:14 p.m., the suspect was in custody. At 6:24 p.m., the suspect was transported to a local area hospital in critical condition. And at 6:57 p.m., the suspect was pronounced deceased at a local area hospital. As you will see in the cruiser's video we're about to show you, the suspect in this incident fired shots at officers as soon as they pulled up, striking one of our officers a bullet that was only stopped by his bulletproof vest. 3 Columbus police officers were involved in this incident. So we're going to show you the video, but just so you know, because our officers were fired at, they are also victims under Marsy's Law and will not be identified under Ohio law. Our injured officer was taken to Grant Medical Center, and we are grateful to say that he was treated and released last night. So we're going to show you the video at this time. That was hard to watch. I just want to applaud each of the responding officers for their bravery and dedication to preserving the safety of our residents and our citizens. This weekend, we are all reminded of the dangers our law enforcement officers face every day as they put their uniforms on and come to work. But we will state this again. We will not tolerate people firing at officers, and we will respond. So now at this time, we will take any questions.
Chief, were you out there for both incidents? And if you were, how were the officers doing on the scene dealing with all of this?
Obviously, you know, the officers are taking it all in, and it's a big concern. They responded very well. They backed each other up, and I'm very proud of the work that they did.
Can you tell us more about the officer who was shot at in this incident? How long that officer has been a part of the department, and how that person's doing now?
He is doing okay. 4 years on the department. Very grateful that he had that bulletproof vest on. And did you show the picture? Yep. As you can see, that vest took that round. And so we're very grateful that he's here with us today.
Just to be clear, in that dash cam video, there was a silver car, it was unmarked. Was that a car that officers were in?
That was a plainclothes vehicle. Yes, that was not a citizen.
Was anyone else in the car with the suspect in that most recent footage?
No.
Is there any word yet on, I guess, the motive for the shooting, for the Amazon shooting?
At this time, I cannot answer that question. I don't know if you have any additional information.
I don't.
No.
Chief Smith, do they have weapons that they carry, the security officers at the Amazon facility, or is he a CCW? Do we know, did he legally have these guns?
They're contracted security company through Amazon, and they're unarmed. So he would have had to have brought the gun in concealed.
Were any other weapons recovered in his car or on his person?
I don't think there were any other weapons.
For Saturday's incident, did you guys know it was a domestic violence call going in? And if so, would that have changed the response in any way?
Well, it was an active situation. The person was shooting not only at the victim that he shot, but he also threatened the callers as well. So our response was very appropriate.
You said that on the Saturday shooting, you recovered multiple weapons. What kind were, I guess, can you talk about what some of the weapons were, how many?
So as you know, this is also an investigation that BCI is conducting, so we have to be mindful that we don't want to compromise the integrity of their investigation as well. So, but we also want to be as transparent as we can, which is why we're giving the information and want to make sure that we get that out as soon as possible.
Chief Frank, can you talk about the officers, particularly in the Saturday situation, where this gentleman is obviously firing at anyone who is in sight, just their bravery to go in to try to eliminate him from trying to shoot and kill any citizen who's just there?
Absolutely. We're very proud of our officers and the training that they receive. Obviously, this is a very volatile situation, and they responded with bravery and dedication to the residents and to each other. So we're very grateful that they were there. Obviously, the residents are very grateful they were there as well. And I think that it's a testament, and it says a lot about the officers and their commitment to the city of Columbus.
But given the fact that we're in police week now, this could have been a drastically different weekend for your division than what it is now.
It absolutely could have been very, very different. We know every time we put this uniform on that there's a possibility that when we go out there, that we're going to encounter some sort of violence, or we can encounter something that may make us not be able to go home to our families. But we took that oath to protect and serve, and I'm very proud that those officers responded the way that they did.
Chief Ryan or Chief Smith, does the Amazon shooter have any prior history on his record?
So what we've discovered is that we can't find any prior records regarding the incident. But again, for the sake of the investigation, we're very careful about what we want to share, because there is an active investigation regarding this shooting. But no, we did not find anything.
We have time for one more question if you have one.
Thank you.
All right.